Indy means the same to me as it does to every racer out here, hoping and praying it will be theirs. And there can only be one winner.
Let me tell you, the U.S. Nationals means everything.
Every badass in the country comes to this race. There's big bucks here, buddy.
It's awesome.
And if you're only going to win one race, they always say it, this is the one to win.
And it's certainly, you know, the 50th with Garlits here.
It's a hell of a thrill. I mean, this U.S. National, this is the big daddy of them all.
I bet you $1 to a donut they pair me up alongside of him.
Not only called the kings of the sport, they're the kings of all motorsports. Top fuel dragsters, the most powerful, fastest, quickest accelerating race cars on earth. These cars produce between 6,000 and 8,000 horsepower. The horsepower peak comes up about 300 feet into the run, nearing 8,000 horsepower, and then due to the heat in the motor, the power drops, and yet still 6,000 horsepower available to these drivers. Unbelievable. The cars accelerate from 0 to 100 miles an hour in 1 second, covering the first 60 feet of the racetrack in just 0.8 of a second. Fans love the burnouts. Newcomers might say, why do they do that? Mainly it heats up the tires, laying down a sheet of hot rubber on the track and warms up the clutch disc, gets it all seated, so when they back up and get ready to stage, they'll have maximum traction and clutch efficiency. Kenny Youngblood here for a very special show. We're at the NHRA U.S. Nationals. It's the 2001 edition. Now, by now, you probably already know who won this event, so we're not going to go there. But we are going to go behind the ropes and behind the scenes to bring you some of the people and the stories that are making this U.S. Nationals and the 50th anniversary of the NHRA so spectacular. There's some very special and legendary competitors here this weekend. How about the return of Big Daddy Don Garlits, an 8-time winner of this event? He's here to try to run 300 miles an hour. Big Daddy's arch rival and nemesis, Shirley Cha-Cha Muldowney.
It was great because all the racers, they just stopped what they were doing. It was just like the old days when Big came to the line. They left their cars, they ran up to the staging, up to the starting line, just like we used to watch Big race. Everybody just going, wow, look at that, it's Big.
I mean, I had to run up there and watch it because that was something special, and those two are icons. Mention drag racing to anybody around that doesn't know anything about drag racing, those are the two names that come up.
Well, I think if you were here last night to see Shirley Muldowney and Don Garlits stage with longtime NHRA starter Buster Couch at the line, it was truly one of the most special moments in all of drag racing history.
Shirley Cha-Cha Muldowney. Shirley has won this race in the past and stated that she would trade all her other event trophies for winning the U.S. Nationals. Shirley, do you still feel that same way about Indy?
Oh, I think, of course. Every racer out there, I think, wants to win this race. No, I don't think I know. They want to win this race because it's the biggest race. It's the most prestigious. If you can't or you don't add this to your record, you really haven't done it all.
Of
course, the event that's unfolding here at the U.S. Nationals is the return of Big Daddy Don Garlits. All eyes in the world of motorsports, not just drag racing, are really watching this happen.
What really brought this about? Why are you coming back out here?
Well, you know, Kenny, I wanted to go 300 miles an hour. I've been wanting to do that for a while. You know, went down to that Auto Fest and went 285 in Paul Smith's car. It should have went 300. And I renewed my license, and I've been thinking about doing it and maybe, you know, anywhere. I got to think about this U.S. Nationals, how important it was. This is the 50th anniversary for NHRA. This is the biggest drag race in the history of the sport.
And he has the fire. This guy is the kind of champion that very few people ever achieve to this level. And his determination and desire inside still exists to this day. It's only a matter of bringing it to the surface.
I guess it's still the challenge. You know, the rewards really aren't in the accolades or the money. It's, you know, the guys that do this out here it's the challenge, you know.
All you have to do is you look at the two pit areas where all you have to do is see all the people lined up. You know, one of them's big and one of them's Shirley. It's because we really do care about them. These folks are the icons, and they're the ones that got us where we are today in drag racing. So not only is it a treat to be on the premises with them, I get a kick out of racing them.
You know, you hear a lot of guys talk about if you want to win one race, this is the one you want to win.
If I'm going to do it, this is the place to do it. I won this race 8 times. There's 100,000 fans here. Everybody in this part of the country knows who I am.
He thinks that chicks should stay home on Sunday.
So we're going to find out if Big Daddy's out of date or not, right?
Yeah, that's exactly right. Can I still leave the line? Can I still drive one of these things? That's going to be the big question.
The potential for some excitement this weekend is definitely here, isn't it?
I think there's excitement right now, and the cars haven't even warmed up.
Racing a funny car at night has to be an incredible experience, Gary. What's it like?
You're right, Kenny. I tell you, during the daytime you see the lights flash by, the grandstands and all the other stuff, but at night it's like driving down a tunnel of light. You know, you got fire out of both sides of the window. All you think you're doing, you're driving straight through a wall of fire at 300 miles an hour, and I'll guarantee you it's really something.
That front window is a blur. You're in war, you're in hell, you're close to dying, fire's out both sides, you can't see nothing.
Yeah, you can see the fire out of the headers outside the window, and I mean, you can barely see anything straight ahead. It takes your vision completely away because it's like a tunnel of fire. And at 300 miles an hour, I'll tell you, it's really exciting. Well, inside the car, obviously you're strapped in tight with a 5-way shoulder harness seatbelt assembly. You're wrapped in a 7-layer fire suit. You got a helmet on. You've got very small eye holes to look at them. You got to have yourself as restricted as you possibly can, and you wonder sometimes, why am I in the middle of this tunnel of fire?
This is my own private peanut butter, and they don't sponsor me. I get chunky peanut butter every day. Take 4 or 5 bites in the morning, okay? I don't want to drag this out. I'm off peanut butter for the day. You get yourself a cup of coffee. Very simple. You may have to chop this up to get it all in. Couple of sugars. Now this diet would kill any normal man in America, okay? Now, if I go any other direction, if I eat anything else, I'm screwed up for the day. They have tried. This is it. You look in my refrigerator, there's 3 things. There's water, Miller Lite, peanut butter cups, peanut butter. Take vitamins continually. You have to have vitamins. I was asked a while back, who do you think the best funny car drivers are in history? Hey, Ron Capps is great. Basemore's great. Tony Petragon's excellent. Today, who do you think is the best? I said, okay, you want to know really the truth? Now, this ain't taking anything away from the young guys or my own driver, Tony. I said, you know, because they tried to tell me I was the best. I said, oh, no. I have the record of being the best. I said, let me tell you who the best are, okay? Not based on the record. Chuck Etchels. Okay. Al Hoffman. Gary Densham. Even Big Jim Dunn, you know why? They got 25 to 30 years in a funny car. They've been down every dirt road from hell and back. That is true grit, man. The bottom line is those guys have done it, okay? Now they're a little bit older, but have they lost their sharpness? No. I'm telling you that they have more seat time. That makes them the best.
We're here with the man himself, the man who just broke the national record and smashed the track record. Whit Bazemore, 325 miles an hour tonight, 475 for the #1 spot in funny car. Whit, you got to be excited.
I'm telling you, it's unbelievable for me to be part of this Matco Tools team. You know, with Lee Beard and Mike Neff and everybody on the team to have that kind of performance. It's you know, I tell you, it's something that you dream about, but it's qualifying and it's an accolade that means a lot. But, you know, we still have the race, and the race is why we're here. You know, we came here to win, and we've got work to do. I mean, it's, you know, you're only as good as your next run. And we still have a lot of work to do this weekend, and, you know, and I've got to be honest. I mean, it gives us more momentum than we've ever had before, and it feels awfully good. It puts us in a good position going into the race.
vote for the coolest driver in the pits, well, it's Mike Dunn, my hero. Mike, you've been doing this for quite a while. When'd you start?
Well, you know, I grew up around the sport, so I've been involved with it all my life, but I actually started driving professionally in 1980, and 1981 was my first year on the NHRA circuit.
So just about 20 years, and in that time, what kind of changes have you seen in NHRA drag racing?
Oh, it's been tremendous. I mean, when I first started driving, I drove a match race car out of White Bear Lake, Minnesota called the Beartown Shaker, and, you know, it ran probably like 650s. Our best one was like a 620, probably 204, just over 240 miles an hour. And, you know, now we're going, you know, this year we ran 4.49 seconds at over 331 miles an hour. And the biggest difference is, I mean, it's not just technology. I mean, obviously, technically they're a lot, you know, more advanced than they were back then. But it's still the basic deal. I mean, it's still the more fuel you burn, the more horsepower you're going to make. And the crew, they just learn how to do that better over the years. But along with it, the safety's gotten a lot better. Because I look back at when I started back in 1980, that car was a lot less safe than this car, even at 240 miles an hour, than this car is at 330 miles an hour. So that's been a big advance over the years.
You know, before Darrell crashed in England, that was one of the fiercest rivalries going. I called him the Wolf because he was lean and mean and he was hungry, and he wanted a piece of the Big Daddy.
People down there, and here sits this dragster with this big group of people around it that put all this effort in building this dragster. I'm like, unbelievable. I mean, I never thought that my daughter would get to see me go down the racetrack again, and you know, and the car doesn't make any noise, so to go down the racetrack and hear all the fans yelling, "We love you, Darrell," and just
a lot of mixed emotions. I was happy to see Darrell get back into a race car, but at the same time it brought back a lot of difficult times in dealing with the fact that he couldn't race anymore, and seeing the video, the Back on My Feet Again video, was kind of tough, but just the tremendous support that the fans gave us last night just really was something else. It was a magical night.
What came over you personally? Can you talk about that?
Well, I don't know that I can express exactly how I feel about it, but it was a feeling of very proud, seeing that he could accomplish things like that once he was injured, and knowing the love and everything that everybody had for him.
Did he come back and talk to you about it afterwards?
We had our moments back in the pit area afterwards.
Can you share that with us?
It's just a father-son thing where he said, "Thanks, Dad."
couldn't hit nothing. He made it to the final and then runs low ET of the world in the final round, you know, and that was Big Daddy Don Garlits, you know. I mean, he could win a lot. He knew how to win races. You know, there's a lot of guys that know how to race, but there's, you know, there's one thing to know how to race a car, but there's another thing to know how to win, and he knew how to win.
Really got to have a lot of guts. Get behind the wheel. Big Daddy's going for his 300 here. This is going to be interesting. I hope he gets it.
He made top fuel what it is now. Rear engine dragsters wouldn't be rear engine if it wasn't for him.
He's living history is what he is.
Because I can remember watching him as a kid and seeing go these lousy tracks. You know, he used to run those AHRA tracks when nobody could get down, that smoking the tires and everything, and he'd go out there and he'd qualify, just barely getting the show, and he would go up there and he would just reel them off, just start taking them in one at a time and whipping them off.
Old is a state of mind, man. And he knows how to drive. He's innovative and an independent, and I like that.
Yeah, we're really glad to see him back in action. He's a fantastic ambassador to NHRA racing.
You know who it is. But that's many years ago, and look at who that is. Oh, look who that is.
NASCAR is great, but even my daughter says, Dad, it gets very boring watching these cars go around for a mile and a half. Just boom, boom, boom. You lose track of the driver and everything else. It's all hype. It's all hype. Out here, you separate the men from the boys.
the Western drag racing. I come from Europe to see that shows and I really love it. And my friend is from Japan coming to see that shows, and my husband is from Spain.
Give her a kiss.
Miguel. And we're all coming here for this great event. Thank you.
We got the international crew, French, Japanese, Spanish from Spain.
Yes, this is my first time here, and when I heard those nitros fire up, man, my whole body trembled, man. I feel something that I ain't never felt before. Powerful, man, powerful, real powerful.
I
couldn't ask for anything better. Sure beats going around in circles.
This is my first time here. When I first saw those Nitro cars going down, I just couldn't believe it. It's unreal. It just shakes your whole body and insides.
Actually, the people here at the drags, it's much more of a friendly atmosphere. The patrons as well as the participants in the races are just unbelievable. Very, very friendly, open. Gives you the opportunity to get into the pits, actually meet with the drivers, watch the crews work on the cars. Very, very approachable. Everyone from the fans to the participants in the races. It's a good time.
How about the first time you heard one of those fuel cars run?
All I can say is unbelievable. The power is amazing that they put out, the sound, the feeling, the rumble that goes through your body. It's unbelievable.
Did you take your gun out when you heard the...
No, I can't say that I did that.
It's the best thing there is. Wouldn't miss it for the world.
Why?
I just love the excitement, just the way when the top fuel's going down, the rumble in your chest, just unbelievable.
Let's face some facts here, though. You haven't been in the driver's seat for 16 years. You're getting in a modern-day top fuel car, probably has twice the power of the car you last drove. Do you really feel that you can pull this off?
Well, you know, I've had some second thoughts about that. My wife says, "Oh, man, do you think you've bit off more than you can chew?" And, you know, you get to thinking about those little things. And said, my mom says, "Don, they go 300 miles an hour. Son, why do you have to do it?" And, you know, you get to think about that. And, you know, here I am, and it's soon going to be time for the rubber to hit the road. No, I never had any doubts that I could do it. I never had any doubts that the car could do it. I just had to get used to the car. This is a wild horse right here. This is a wild horse, and you got to come to this horse, and that's what I had to do for the 2 days. That was actually good. The days in the seat and the cockpit time, I was coming to the horse. I knew if I ever got through the lights under full power without lifting or doing something stupid, or the car doing something stupid, I'd make it.
Sunday, September 2nd, 2001, a date that will go down in drag racing history here at the U.S. Nationals as Big Daddy Don Garlits returns to the driver's seat after a 16-year absence to go 303 miles an hour at a 4.72 elapsed time.
Yeah, I wouldn't be here. Without the 100% support of my wife, I wouldn't be here. And without the blessing of my 91-year-old mother at home, I wouldn't be here.
Big, on behalf of every single drag racing fan that ever watched you go down a quarter mile, thanks.
Thank y'all. I appreciate every minute of it.
Gary, Big Daddy just ran 300 miles an hour in the Matco car. Are you as thrilled at this moment as you thought you'd be?
More. It's a very rewarding, rich feeling, you know, and I can't say enough about the drag race fans. That's why we did it. We did it for each and every person that loves this guy and loves this sport.
Outstanding. At the other end, Gar just couldn't say enough about you putting him in this car. Are you glad you did it?
Oh, absolutely. I never had any doubts about what this man can do behind the wheel, and he just proved it out there to everybody. He drove the car. He wasn't going to give it to him if he didn't get after it real aggressively on the wheel up there at mid-track. He'd never made it. You know, it started out a little disappointing for us on Friday night. We didn't have the success that we had hoped for. It just showed us where we had to start on this, because we had to bring Don to the car and we had to marry these two together. And that doesn't happen in just one run. What he's done here is absolutely phenomenal, to take a car of today and figure out how to drive it all in 2 days. And it started out a little rough for us, but I'll tell you what, this guy came back, and hands down, he's a true driver. He can still compete. He can drive these cars with the best in the world, guaranteed. That's why he's won so many championships and won so many races and set so many records in his career. And this is another milestone for Don. We're just happy to be a part of it. God bless him.
Hats off to you, Gary, and the Matco Tools crew here. This is Kenny Youngblood for Main Event Sports and Nitro Warriors saying,
it's over.